everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Dense Pixels podcast, where we are all staying at home under government orders. I'm your host, Brad, joined by my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
And Terrence.
What's up?
Carrie's not with us today. I assume she's just playing Persona 5 Royal. And Animal Crossing. She's like balanced between the two, couldn't tear herself away.
Yeah. Not in the right headspace. Yeah, your headspace is all wrapped around talking animals and anime high school kids.
Terrence, I'm anxious to go to you first with new stuff because I downloaded the Predator Hunting Grounds trial. Didn't get a chance to play it. I haven't been playing really any video games lately. I've been getting back to board games a little bit, which is something that my wife and I kind of fell off with for about a year and a half because...
I mean, well, you've been in the house for 2.5 weeks.
Well, that's part of it too, but also just having time during the week now and having the weekends wide open and being forced to not be able to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's been good, but I did not get a chance to play it. But you are the only other person that I know personally that has played it. So I'm anxious to see what you thought about it.
It's not good.
You don't even like it?
I mean, I didn't hate it, but it's not good. The problem with the game is, well, the first match that I did, I was one of the mercenaries. And the first thing you notice when the game starts is it's not very pretty. It's very ugly. Second thing you notice is it doesn't even hit 30 frames per second.
Oh, really?
Like the frame rate is awful when you're a mercenary. And then we went through, we won because it's very easy to win as the mercenaries. The Predator is very weak.
What?
The Predator is very weak. Like, let that sink in. Let that sink in for a second. Like, if you have a coordinate, like if because it's 4 mercenaries and against the Predator. If you have a coordinated group that doesn't split up, he's not gonna win. You're not gonna win as a Predator. You can't, because he's not a bullet sponge, unlike the enemies in the division. I want to talk about that a little bit too. He's very squishy. If you get caught in the crosshairs of all 4, he's gonna get taken out. He just is. It's very hard to win. I've won 2 matches with him because the other team, was kind of just, I don't know what the fuck they were doing. So I was able to take them out one by one. But if they're a cohesive unit, you can't. Even when you level him up and get his other weapons and abilities, it's still not enough. And that game's supposed to come out in like 2 weeks. It's not ready. Like there are graphical bugs. It's like the frame rate is terrible. They're gonna have to retweak the power. I played about 6 or 7 games. I won 2 as the Predator. The rest of them, because I wanted to see if I could do it, because it's so difficult. And I was able to. I was able to take maybe 1 or 2 out each game. But like when you take them out, they can respawn. Like you can rip their spine out, but if you don't take the other people out, they have a chance for them to respawn their teammates, which doesn't make any fucking sense. That's stupid.
Well,
like you rip their spine out as a trophy, but they can bring them back, and you have 15 minutes to either get them to kill them or for them to finish their mission and escape with the chopper.
You still only have to kill 4. You still only have to get 4 confirmed kills, though, right, to win as the Predator?
You have to take out the whole team.
Right, but I didn't think you had to take out the whole team. I thought
you have to take out the whole team.
It wasn't like that when I played it several months ago. That must have been something that changed then, because it used to be just, it didn't matter who you killed, but as long as you got 4 confirmed kills against the mercenaries, even if you killed someone who had respawned, it would still.
Well, you don't have enough time to do that. Like, I mean, because the thing, like, first of all, controlling him is very clunky because he can run through trees and stuff. But sometimes you'll want to jump onto one branch, but he'll jump onto another one. You're like, yeah, that's not what I told you to fucking do. But okay, that's fine. You can still see him pretty clearly when he goes into cloak mode. Trying to find the mercenaries when he's got the infrared. Like all of the enemies look the same. The only difference between the enemies, like the NPCs, and the enemies you have to kill, they have a little like dot over their head, but sometimes that dot doesn't show up, so you don't know who. I thought I was taking out the some of the other players, but I was just taking out NPCs, and I'm like, well, that was stupid. Like it's not really fun playing as a Predator at all. Like that's why I was able to get so many games playing as him, because no one wanted to be him. Because everybody's like, yo, I'm just win easily within like 3 minutes as the fucking mercenary if we can all focus our fire on him. And he has a self-destruct thing, but all you got to do is get out of the blast radius. Once he's it's not fun. You know, it's just not. Like, I don't hate the game. Like it can be good. You just need to buff him up a little bit, make him worth a damn. So yeah, it was worthless. Like it's not good. It's just not. It's not fun. And it's 40. It's going to be $40 when it comes out. Nope. No.
The frame rate part's concerning because that's also something.
Yeah, that's the part. The first thing I noticed was, I'm like, yo, this shit ain't even running at 30 frames per second. But maybe 20 to 25.
I played it in a very controlled.
Was it on PS4 or was it PC? Because PC, I heard it was fine.
It was on PS4, but it was also, I think it was all locally connected, so there wasn't worry about having to mess with.
And it shows you your ping. You know, it was pretty low. Yeah. Like it was just the frame rate is just trash. It needs work. Well, that's the first thing. After the first game, I'm like, yo, this game needs a lot of work before, and it's supposed to come out in 2 weeks. Nah, yo, don't. You better release this shit at 20 and do a fucking No Man's Sky. For real, because it's not good. So, and I wanted to talk about, because I've been playing a lot of it, and I don't know how much more I'm going to play of it. Is the Division 2. I got the Warlords of New York expansion pack. I beat that. When it first came out, they decided they wanted to increase the difficulty, like tenfold, to the point where, like, once you hit they have 4 difficulty levels. They have normal, hard, challenging, and heroic. And then there's another legendary, which literally, like, you can get shot one time by anybody and it'll just drop, depending on how much armor you have. They increased the difficulty when it first came out, and people complain, and rightfully so, because once you got to challenging, you can have like 1.5 million armor, but if a shotgunner from 70 yards away can hit you once and drop all of that armor and half of your health, what's the fucking point? Literally one shot would take all of your armor off. Yes, it's a cover-based shooter, but sometimes, like, if you have a shotgunner in the back and then you have like a tank that shoots like multiple grenades at the same time in the same direction, and they have like a really wide blast radius that you can't get out of, you're fucked. So it was really difficult. So they patched it to make it a little less difficult, but they also kind of patched it to make it where it's very difficult to get any kind of exotics. Like the drop chance for exotics is like 7% on the hardest difficulty when you do a mission. So that's if you do a mission 100 times, you're supposed to get about 7 drops. Some people have done that and haven't even gotten any. It's almost like they want you. I don't know what they want. But it's gotten to the point where it's not really fun. And the only builds that are viable in that game at this point, if you're doing solo, are damage builds, because you have skills and you have like armor perks and shit like that, but they're useless if the enemies can take your armor away with one shot. So what you want to do is just be as strong as you can possibly be and not get hit. Because some of these, I finished one mission last night actually, and they tell you how much damage you've done in a mission. I did 2.5 billion damage. That's not an exaggeration. That's how much damage output I did to take some of these enemies. Because these enemies have like 10, 20 million health. Like the damage numbers are stupid. And you have 1 million damage. You have like 1,000,006 full health, like armor and health. The damage numbers are dumb. Like when I saw it, I'm like, yo, I put out a lot of damage, and some of these characters alone, like some of the harder characters to take out probably have, like, no exaggeration, 500 million health. Those numbers are really dumb, but I'm not making it up. Like it's just foolish. So I think they're patching it again next week to try to fix that. I don't know what they're gonna do. Because it's just inherently that's how the game is. So I still like it, but it just gets aggravating sometimes.
Yeah,
I've only unlocked like 3 exotic weapons since I've been playing for like a month and a half. It's a grind. Damn. But for some reason I still play it.
I mean, I guess that's a testament to the actual gameplay, right?
Yeah, like, it's fun. Like good. like 4 players, like they make everything so much harder. Like when it's 4 people, it just scales the difficulty like dramatically, and they have so much health, and that's why I put 2 billion damage out. It was so stupid. I'm like, yo, this is dumb, but okay. And the people I was in there with, I'm looking because I had the highest amount of output, having damage output, and I'm like, yeah, I just created a damage build, and like, yo, that's mad. That's a lot. How the fuck did you even get? I'm like, look.
Well, they had like Destiny had to go through the same thing because like eventually damage values just got so stupid that you couldn't display them on the screen. So like they're like, we have to retweak it so that we can actually display numbers that make sense. Yeah, otherwise, everything's like, going to be max damage all the time.
It's like all of those games because it's a looter shooter RPG essentially. So like when you see higher level Diablo gameplay, like if you've ever seen it on Twitch or anything like that on PC, you can see the damage numbers that they're doing. They're doing like 50 million per hit, just running through fucking the levels. Like it's 50 million damage per hit, and it's still not killing the enemies. I'm like, yo, that's just foolish. It's just to show it, just to show how much damage you can make with these builds. It's just dumb. Like damage numbers don't mean anything at that point. It's just how long it takes for you to kill them. But when they show that you did 2 billion damage in a match, I'm like, all right.
You see that,
and I still got dropped.
Destiny rankings all the time too, because they do that shit too, where they show you how much like numerical damage you put out, and like some of the numbers are just fucking silly.
It's stupid. It's nonsense. But like, you just kind of feel good because I did 2 billion damage, but like it took us 40 minutes to finish this fucking match.
Well, meanwhile, when you go into Crucible, though, all of the damage numbers are regulated because they're running around with the same health. So then, like in Crucible, like when you do 4,000 damage or 5,000 damage, you're like,
you're like, like it's the same for the Dark Zone in this game. Like everything's normalized. So my gun that does 3 million per headshot only does like 20,000 like in the Dark Zone. I'm like, well, that's stupid. All right, whatever. But yeah, it's a fun game, but it's just they're just trying to find a balance, and people are kind of getting sick of it. So,
speaking of crippling monotony, Micah has downloaded the most recent expansion to Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Yeah, you should be proud of that. That was funny. Yeah, the one that I actually wanted to play, because it's all about the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom. Look, that game it plays the same as it normally does.
They literally are just adding characters to it, are they not?
Yeah, pretty much.
And they're adding like one of those like hex, like the challenge. I'm assuming like a challenge grid with every expansion that comes out.
So every expansion has a different gimmick. The first game had the base game had what they call Infinity Trials, which are basically just repurposed assets and put in different situations. The first expansion featured Blade and Moon Knight and Morbius and the Punisher, and it was all like vampire themed. So the gimmick there was there are certain situations where you can get powered up, but your energy will like be sapped or whatever. Or no, that was the enemies. The enemies could be like cursed or whatever, and you had to debuff yourself in order to kill them, right? And it also introduced the Danger Room. It introduced Gauntlet, which is a series of random tasks that you have to play in succession without stopping in order to finish it. The X-Men expansion had all that stuff, and then it had what they call the Phoenix Force, which is a power up that you get. You debuff yourself in order to increase your damage output, and they offered Danger Room, which is a bunch of repurposed assets and then missions where you fight, different things with different criteria. This one actually, the Shadow of Doom actually gives you an epilogue to the story. There's one chapter. There's an epilogue with 15 or 16 chapters in it.
Okay. Let's say one chapter. That'd be kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah. But it's more story, and it's all about in the first game you stop Thanos and spoiler alert, you stop his son Thane from holding the Infinity Gauntlet, right? And you this next one, Doctor Doom is trying to get one of the Infinity Stones, and he banishes you to the negative zone, and the Fantastic Four, they're just kind of doing their own thing, which is why they weren't around when Thanos was trying to fuck shit up. And it's a bunch of repurposed assets. And I mean, look, it is, but it's got a couple of new areas. But you know, it's the same game, right? You're going around, you're fighting things just to get stronger. Level cap has been bumped up to 300. There's a couple of other things that you get when you beat the game. You get the Fantastic Four and you get Doctor Doom when you beat the game, right? And first thing I did, right, popping Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is great. He's awesome, right? He can do this thing called self-synergize, where I don't know if you remember in the first game, Terrence, but they if two characters did a special move together, that gave you bonus damage, right?
Yeah,
that's the same mechanic in this game. Two characters can do a certain move. It can have a certain combination of moves. They do extra damage and they charge up your super meter. Doom can do that by himself, which is really, really cool, right? Like he can drop a Doom bot and then his other three powers, the Doom bot will mimic, and you can combine those powers. So he can self-synergize. So he's pretty much self-reliant. Which is really awesome. I really like playing him. He plays very differently from the other characters. And then there's a mystery character, right? And you beat the game on the hardest difficulty level, which is not very difficult to do. My Doctor Doom was level 130. The game recommended you be 230, and I was able to beat it and get this character. And I was playing Doctor Doom. I'm like, wow, I can't imagine anybody would be better than Doctor Doom. And then the mystery character unlocks, and nobody gives a fuck. So, spoiler alert: the mystery character is Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's the fucking boss of the game, right? And I mean, like, what's the point of even playing now? Like, it's just easy mode, right? Like, he opens up at level 230, right? And he can, everything he does can just annihilate people. Like, there's literally no point in me playing the game. I've already beaten the hardest difficulty, right? Well, it does have a little bit of replay value. This expansion has all of the previous expansions content just bumped up, right? So up to 300. So you can take your super powered Infinity Gauntlet Thanos and wreck shop. But it's look, I like the game, but it is what it is, right?
I'd say you've certainly gotten your
you're
$90 out of it that you invested. So
yeah, I enjoy the game, but it is not for everyone, and I get it. And I was talking bullshit about the Division, like, oh, well, nah, yo, the Division is a much more interesting game, right? It just is. This is me just literally walking around hitting Y, X, and then, you know, occasionally pulling the trigger and doing some special moves. But there's something about it that I just enjoy because I don't have to think about it. You know what I mean? Like, I can turn on a podcast and listen to the men with the golden tongues and just go around and infinity gauntleting people. That's a verb now, infinity gauntleting.
Okay.
But look, the expansion, the season pass is worth it for the last expansion if you are into this game. If you're not, I mean, I would still probably pick this game up on like a sale, but Nintendo doesn't do sales.
That's the problem. It was published by them, so it's going to be subject to all their bullshit where it's going to be $60 for fucking ever.
Yeah. So I think you would like it, Brad, but I think you would like it for $20.
Remember, I played it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
That's
played
right.
it and it was fun for a lark, but I wouldn't. It's not something I'd want to spend. If I was playing with somebody, it would probably be a lot more fun.
Yeah, I think that's what I need to do too, because I've soloed this game, just me, myself, and I. And if you're playing with somebody, you kind of want to talk to them, and then you got to pull up your Nintendo app on your phone and then talk through the phone. Like it's just so much
Yeah, that sounds
bullshit,
like not fun at all.
so much rigmarole that it's not worth it. But look, I enjoyed it. I'm having fun with it. And I downloaded the Bravely Default 2 demo, which
I should download that as well. I didn't realize there's a demo for it, but I'm actually going to probably do that while Micah's doing his 5-minute ad read coming up in a little bit here.
There you go.
See what happens there. It's actually a decent week of new stuff as far as releases go, if you need something to keep you busy while you're stuck at home. So without much fanfare or hype, the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 campaign remaster released today on the PlayStation 4. It'll be coming to PC and Xbox One in a month's time. But if you want to play the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 campaign remastered for current generation consoles, that's available. I didn't see a price on that.
I'm about to say, is that free?
I don't think so. I think it's something you have to pay for, but it better not be fucking $60 or even $40 for that matter. That thing better be
fucking 15, 10.
20 would be acceptable.
No, because I got the fucking Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 remastered for free. Maybe it was free on Xbox, on PS4. I don't know. But either way, I got the shit for free.
So Micah will let us know about that when he finds that information. Persona 5 Royal Edition came out today. A lot of people are very excited about that. You know, what better way to spend your time stuck at home than to play a 200-hour RPG that many of you have already played before.
I still didn't finish the first one, but no, I'm not going to buy this one. Just for a new student.
Well, there's new expansion content as well with the game.
Oh well, I don't like that fucking cat. It gets on my goddamn nerves.
And then finally, Resident Evil 3 Remake came out today as well. So if you have never played Resident Evil 3, apparently
Friday.
I'm sorry, yes, Friday is when that comes out. It's not quite to the caliber of RE2, considering it was developed in probably a year. Probably not that surprising. But RE3 I think was an underrated game anyway back in its day. So
I'm looking forward to it. I've never played Resident Evil 3. That's the one that I haven't played.
Oh, okay.
So it's also a new month coming up here. So Xbox starting tomorrow, or actually today, as most of you will probably listen to this, is going to have a whole new set of free games. The entire month of April, you get Project Cars 2 for Xbox One. From April 16th to May 15th, you get Knights of Pen and Paper Bundle. I don't even know what that is. That's fine. But that's free the back half of the month into May. For Xbox 360, also playable on Xbox One from April 1st, 15th, you get Fable Anniversary, the 360 remake of Fable 1. And from the 16th through 30th, you get Toy Box Turbos, which sounds to me like a shitty racing game.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I don't think Fable holds up.
You're probably. I agree with you. I've never liked Fable. I don't know what the people that enjoy Fable see in Fable.
Like I played the first 2 or 3.
I played the first 3, and I don't know why.
2 was the first game that I bought for Xbox 360 when I bought an Xbox 360, and I was like, I don't understand why everyone likes this game.
I think I kept buying it because like I like British humor, and I was expecting I was expecting the game to be kind of funny, but it's not.
It wasn't. Yeah.
No. And then Fable 3. I mean, Fable 3. I remember they made a big deal about holding hands.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I played Fable 1. Yeah. Okay. I did play all 3. And Fable 3, like you could like hold hands. Have children out of wedlock or whatever bullshit.
You become the king halfway through the game. And
then you become the king halfway through the game.
Is how you rule. So
you know how fairy tales or fables stop after you become the king or get married or whatever, because nobody wants to go through the bullshit humdrum doldrums of actually ruling or actually being married or actually having to live your life as king. Now you're king, you just got to sit there and break the economy by leaving the game on for hours and hours and hours just so you can afford to do the things you want to do.
Right, you had to build up your fucking coffers to do shit.
Right.
Like, I don't want to do that. So you just put your game back you push it up for 3 years or some shit. So you had unlimited money. You can do whatever you wanted. That's what I did.
Let me tell you something.
Fuck you.
Peter Molyneux is a guy that time has definitely forgotten. We've heard.
Yeah, I haven't heard his name
that dude since
in a while since you just said it.
So, yeah, I forgot. I forgot it. You'll never forget our faces. I'm not as good as Brad, guys. I'm not as good as Brad with the segues.
I'm a professional. I've had like 7 years of practice doing these. So
yeah. I need to get on it. Just like you need to get on youtube.com/densepixels and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can see what our offices and houses look like.
Right now, you certainly can.
While you're on the internet, go to densepixels.com and /premium for $5 a month or $50 a year. You get access to a suite of podcasts, including the airing of grievances. A new episode just went up as we are talking. No Time to Bleed, a new episode of that will be recorded the day Resident Evil 3 comes out. The Men with the Golden Tongues, a new episode of that is coming very soon. The new show Upstage Conversations, I will be conversing with Carrie. We'll probably be doing that this weekend to talk about one of my favorite musicals.
I actually like that movie.
I love that movie. I love it. You get the full episode of the Look Forward Political Podcast. Look, man, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. You got the game show president who is ecstatic that his ratings for the darkest season of America are through the roof. This is like Ozark, but America. And
that fucking tweet made me so fucking angry, dude. You don't know how mad I was when I saw that shit. I want to fight that nigga, yo. Like a fist fight, like a real fight, because I know I would win and I would probably kill him. The views of me are not the views of the other two guys, so don't come for them. Come for me, bitch. Like, for real, I can't stand that nigga. I hate him.
Oh, it's sad. There's a lot going on in the world, and you're gonna wanna a lighthouse to guide you through these stormy times, and I can't think of anyone more bright enough or more bright than Andy and Jay.
You sure about that?
Because
I listened to the episode today.
Oh, I haven't listened to it today.
Okay.
While you're on the internet, while you're cruising, while you're surfing the web on your intelligent telephones, you can load up your favorite pod catching device, and you can subscribe to our free shows, the flagship show, The Nerdpocalypse, where we talk about COVID-19 and how it affects movies.
All of them.
Yeah. This week, we are bound to talk about a bunch of movies that came out on video on demand. I saw Bloodshot for some reason. And,
I did not. I watched the last 10 minutes because I'm like, I watched the first 15. I'm like, this looks terrible, and I skipped to the last fight sequence, And I'm like, I was right.
I have two questions. You brought up Bloodshot, so I have two questions about Bloodshot. Was it always planned to be a VOD release, or was it adjusted because of the current situation?
No, it came out in movie theaters.
It did. Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And then this hit.
I'm sure COVID-19 was the reason that Bloodshot was not successful in the theater.
I have a question. Why does Guy Pearce insist on being in mediocre sci-fi?
Why does Vin Diesel insist on being in mediocre sci-fi movies? That dude actually has like a legit career, and he still does terrible films.
I mean, we can argue that the majority of his movies are terrible.
Yeah,
there's an argument to be made. I mean, even the Fast and Furious movies, while I love all of them, the majority of them, they're not really that good.
There's fun terrible, and then there's like legit terrible.
And then there's
this was not fun terrible. God damn. I didn't watch that one. I did watch. I saw Bad Boys. I saw Bad Boys last night, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And the Hunt was really fucking good. So was The Invisible Man.
Oh, okay. I need to watch that. So we're gonna elaborate. We're gonna elaborate on all of those on Thursday.
I spent $60 on those movies.
Black on Black Cinema, a new episode should be releasing this week, all on the Pam Grier Titty-tastic Coffee. Come see what a big-breasted black woman thinks a Jamaican sounds like. I guarantee you, it's not what you think. Coming Distractions, our contemporary movie review show. None of us are able to go to movies. But
they're literally closed. And not like at the after 8 close. No, them niggas is closed.
Yeah, they're
no, I've got one 2 minutes away from me. Them shits is shut down.
And you get the free weekly preview of the Look Forward Political podcast.
And don't forget what's going to be the first of multiple Beyond the GameStop Beyond the Register episodes was recorded last week, so that's going to release on premium this week. So if you're not a premium member, consider kicking out the $5. And like I said, we had so much fun and didn't nearly tell as much stories, and Terrence wasn't there, so we're going to have to do it at least one more time, if not more time. So you'll have to check that out, and that'll be coming at you soon as well. You know what else might be coming at you sooner than you might have thought? It's Final Fantasy VII Remake. Apparently Square is going to be shipping out the game early in Europe and Australia due to the coronavirus outbreak. They are worried that the outbreak will delay normal shipping avenues, so they're trying to get it out early to make sure that people have it in time. However, because people are going to get early, they're begging people not to post spoilers for this nearly 25-year-old game that they're going to be getting a couple days ahead of everybody else.
And part of the game.
Yes.
Yeah. They're making such a big deal. They keep saying, don't post spoilers, don't post spoilers. Like, is that for the people who weren't 17 in 1997? Or is that for, do you think there will actually be, like, some variances in the story?
It's not even that. It's hey, don't post spoilers for the 2/3 point of Act 1. Like that's literally like there's something pretty major that happens at the end of Act 1 of Final Fantasy VII that is not going to be in this game, at least as far as I know, unless they're going to fuck with the timeline,
which is just dumb.
But yeah, so don't spoil 2/3 of the first act of Final Fantasy VII.
2/3 of the first third.
Don't do that. So, but yes, that if you live in Europe or Australia, you might see that show up on your doorstep a couple days up in advance. If you live in America, doubt it. You might get late. Amazon's like your only fucking avenue, unless of course you decide to go to your local area GameStop. Well, the GameStop stories, they continue to get crazier by the second. Now, it appears that this story might have been a rogue district manager and not necessarily a company directive. But apparently, at least one district in GameStop is advising associates to wrap around their hands to help customers at the door as the stores are currently closed and they're doing door side service, I guess. So basically what they're trying to do is have the associate, like, they'll go up to the customer with a bag around their hand and they'll take the credit card from the customer that has to pay, and then they'll hold it in their bagged hand and swipe the credit card through the credit card machine or put the chip in. And then once the transaction is done, they'll take the purchase with their bagged hand, and much like you would a dog turd when you're out walking your animal on the street, you'll pick it up in a bagged hand and then turn the bag inside out around the product, which you can then hand to
You
the
gotta be
customer.
fucking kidding me, Is this fake? Is this real?
Apparently,
Do they
it
really
is
do this?
real. At least in one district. We don't know if this was a directive sent out by a district manager or if this is a company-wide directive that is being advised. But yes, someone at GameStop said, "Hey, approach customers with a bagged hand so that you don't catch COVID-19."
Yo. All right. Okay. And you wonder why you have a problem, GameStop.
So, but there you go. So the dog turd method has now come to retail. Congratulations, everyone. Reportedly, there are a couple Super Mario remasters that are coming to the Nintendo Switch this year to celebrate Mario's 35th anniversary. And they, according to this report, which is from a British gaming website called Video Games Chronicle, they'll be getting updated versions of, quote, most of its Super Mario games, including Super Mario Galaxy, which is a game that has yet to be remastered amongst all of the other Mario games, including newer Mario games, I think, that have gotten remastered even beyond the Mario Galaxy series. So,
which one was the one where Mario had a water pack on his back?
that is Mario Sunshine, and nobody needs to remaster.
Okay, yeah. All right. I was just making sure this isn't it, because that wasn't that great.
No, there's a very small, and when I mean very small, contingent of fans that really enjoy that game, and I don't know why, because it's not good.
What was
Because
the purpose of that game? Did he just like spray water on shit?
he had to like
But
clean up the world, right? Like there was a bunch of oil on the ground or something, and
Not the world, Micah. A getaway resort. That's where that game took place. Was like a resort on Delfino Island.
yeah. Let's not take Mario out of the Mushroom Kingdom, guys. Let's
sent that nigga to Jamaica. Like, what the fuck?
Like Mario
weird.
Sunshine was literally the follow-up to Super Mario 64, one of the greatest games of all time.
right.
Mario Sunshine came on the GameCube?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
By the way, in This Week in Old, I saw this the other day and it made me feel tremendously old. We are now technically further away from the release of Super Mario 64 than Super Mario 64 was from the release of Pong. So let that sink in.
Wow.
What? Wait, Super Mario 64 came out in 96?
Yes.
Holy shit. When did Pong come out?
Pong came out in like
70. Are you sure?
I'm 100% positive. Pong came out in like 72, I want to say, or something thereabouts.
Huh.
But yes, we have moved farther from Mario 64 than Mario 64 was away from Pong.
Wow.
So there's that.
Yeah, I'm almost 40. Right. Jay is 40.
And finally,
And you'll be there what in like 2-3 months?
Yeah, I'll be there in July.
July?
Yeah. Sorry, I got a couple years yet, so don't be.
I got a year.
And finally, Outer Worlds for Switch. We didn't report. We brought to you a couple weeks ago that it was getting a slightly different release date. That release date is going to be June the 5th. So on June 5th, you can play Outer Worlds on your Nintendo Switch, a game that I would like to get back to, but I don't know if I actually will or not. on PS4.
Yeah,
I've seen it updated it a couple times. Like when I wake up, while I've seen that there's been updates on Outer Worlds on my system. I'm like, for what? Like they did some balancing issues or something.
Quality of life stuff. They made text bigger because the text in that game is like insane.
Yeah, it was really small.
Yeah, it was like Dead Rising small.
Yo, oh my god, yeah.
If you didn't have an HD TV, you were SOL. Yeah. It just looked like a bunch of ellipses down there.
What the
fuck? So look, with this whole COVID-19 thing, you're not able to go anywhere. Can't go to the supermarket. Instacart they're striking. They're like, nope.
Yeah, like, nah, nigga, this is dangerous.
Right.
Which it is.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. It's so dangerous that only a giant corporation can still afford to keep people delivering things to your house. Enter Amazon. When you go to www.densepixels.com/Amazon and make all of your Amazon purchases, you will be helping us out just a little bit. You see, we get a little bit of a kickback when you go to www.densepixels.com/Amazon. Let's see what's on www.densepixels.com/Amazon right now. Let's type in COVID-19 and see what we come up with. First thing that comes up, Tales of COVID-19 Part 1 Running Thin. COVID-19 Tales book number 1 for $0 or 99 cents if you don't have Kindle Unlimited. There's a whole lot of COVID-19 crap that you can buy right now when you www.densepixels.com/Amazon.
There's a book. Look, hold up. Before you continue, I just put in COVID-19 and I just saw a book. You want to guess the name of this book real quick? I don't know if you see it, but this is hilarious. It is called Quarantined with the 10-inch Soldier, Interracial Romance.
Yo, what the hell? Yo, women are wild.
Yo, y'all need to relax. For real. Jesus Christ.
And here, look, I don't know. I don't know how to follow that. I was going to show you this. I was going to show you this little baby onesie that says coronavirus survivor outlast the quarantine. COVID-19 baby toddler one-piece bodysuit. This is in bad taste, yo. This is in horrendous taste. This is a baby onesie that's got Survivor on it with a picture of the little COVID-19 mascot.
How about this? If you want to buy something related to current events on densepixels.com/Amazon, go get yourself a copy of the board game Pandemic, and then you too can learn your part to fight COVID.
Oh my God.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
Pandemic, incidentally, is a really good game, so it is worth getting as well.
Fuck off, coronavirus. I'm coloring. Self-Care for the Self-Quarantined, a humorous adult swear word coloring book. Boy, how childish. Adults playing with coloring books because they're quarantined. That's very childish. Not like taking pictures of fucking dolls. That's what real men do. They take pictures of action figures and post them on Facebook.
Yeah, I've seen that. Pour me a quarantini shirt. That's cool. Okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Nobody's taking this shit seriously.
Go to WWE. Here's the onesie right here. I see it.
Yeah, like that shit is in bad fucking taste, yo. I'm sorry. And maybe it's just me getting old and I got a kid. Nah, yo. Get that. Don't put that on a baby. You put that on a baby, I bet not see you walking around.
Stick with jokes that are in bad taste. COVID-19, not the only thing trying to take over the world this week. Epic Games has taken their next giant step in just being the only thing that exists in video games with the launch of Epic Games Publishing, which is a brand new publishing label that is being funded by Epic Games. According to Tim Sweeney, founder of Epic Games, he said, quote, "We're building the publishing model we always wanted for ourselves when we worked with publishers." So if you think that this is some, fly-by-night thing that Epic is, just bringing up some new developers you never heard of, think again, because they signed 3 pretty big fucking names to this new label. Remedy Entertainment, makers most recently of Control, also of Alan Wake and the Max Payne series. Playdead Studios, the makers of Limbo and Inside. And then Gen Design, the studio that most recently launched The Last Guardian. Remedy has said that the deal with Epic covers 2 games, one larger scale title in the vein of, not like Control, but the size of Control, and then a smaller game that's being set in the same universe. Now, according to Epic, here is the terms that they are providing to developers that join this label or that publish under this label. Developers retain 100% of all intellectual property and full creative control of their work, so they're not going to have any creative oversight from Epic Games. Epic Games Publishing will cover up to 100% of development costs, from developer salaries to go-to market expenses such as QA, localization, marketing, and all publishing costs. And developers will earn a fair share for their work. Once costs are recouped, developers will earn at least 50% of all profits for the games that they publish under the label. So again, Epic famous for the 88-12 split for games published on the Epic Games Store, whereas most of the industry is doing 30%. This is also a deal that is kind of bucking the trend of the rest of the game publishing industry. And if you think that, they're just doing this to get to publish, a bunch of big games exclusively to the Epic Games Store, not the case. Apparently, the games that are published under this label won't necessarily be exclusive to the store. Epic says the venture is, quote, a new multi-platform publishing effort with a developer-first approach. And they said they'll have more partners to announce in the coming months. I feel like some of this is like too good to be true.
I was about to say, if this is exactly what they say it is, I mean, that's great. But they're a big company, so I don't trust none of them motherfuckers.
Right.
To be honest with you. Like, what's the end game for that?
The ulterior motive. Yeah.
Yeah, something ain't right. I don't trust him. And he's white. Sorry, Brad. But I don't trust him, niggas. I don't know. I don't know. He's good. I don't know. Like, he's a dick. Like Tim Sweeney, whatever his name is. Like, he's an asshole, right? But like, he makes himself out to be an asshole for the people.
Mm-hmm.
I still like, yo, you have one game that's making you all the money in the world, There's one. And I don't even understand how that game makes so much fucking money. But that's it. I mean, I guess you can just throw your money around and give it to fucking developers and things like that. And that's cool. Again, if this is what it is, that's awesome. But I don't trust you.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't.
What are you signing them contracts in?
Yeah.
Feel like you're signing them in blood, yo.
I don't know. I mean, he bought these developers are with them. So what's the fine print say?
I don't know. Again, it seems like that these are like term-based deals. Like, it's not like they're acquiring these studios. Like, it's just that like, they're signing publishing agreements with them. Again, like if they're doing this in the effort to move the rest of the industry in that direction, then more power to them. Like, that's the thing that Jay talked about all the times. Like, why don't billionaires just like throw gobs of money at shit just to make themselves look good? Because like for them it would be like for Jeff Bezos could throw $50 billion at a cause and it wouldn't be a dent in his pocket, and he would be like
he'd get it back in a fucking year.
He'd be like a saint, like right, and like you could PR. So I feel like that this is like the video game realization of that concept for Jay, in some ways. But again, it is curious to see what the end game is. And again, if they make a super successful game, Epic is going to get 50% of the profits from that game, which is pretty fucking good, especially if it can be monetized with, in-game transactions and things of that nature.
Which it probably will.
But most likely, inevitably. But still, it just does seem like it is almost too good to be true. But then again, we might just be cynical and jaded given, the stories we usually hear about publishers like Activision and history and things of that nature. So
the history of this country,
yeah,
in every market, regardless of whatever one, yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely the big news of the week. So we go to the Dense Pistols post office to answer your questions, find out what you want to know about gaming. We'll start with Rashawn. He says, with some reports that the PlayStation 5 could be $400 at launch, does that give Sony the win again?
No. It's all about the games.
It is all about the games. I think also it depends on what the Series X launches at as well, which is we don't know. And with all that they are putting into the PlayStation 5, 400
they're at a massive loss,
right?
If they do a 400,
that doesn't seem possible. I'd be curious.
I don't see any less than 500.
Right, I would agree. So, unless, like you said, they're just willing to eat shit to get market share, and then hopefully it'll pay off for them.
Yeah, no, people are going to pay $500 for it.
Yeah,
I don't know now. They might want to wait a little bit. Both systems, like, look, people will understand. They ain't got the money for it.
I mean, will they? Some people won't. I got the feeling some people won't. Some people don't understand that this thing is real.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind.
They're like,
I always forget sometimes that I need this to be snapped back into reality how fucking stupid people are.
Yeah, just hop on Twitter and just type in whatever popular hashtag is and get ready to have your mind eroded.
Cam says, are you guys watching WrestleMania live this year or just getting into it when you get to it? P.S. if you avoid spoilers since they're pre-taping the show in advance. To the latter question, yes, I am not observing any spoilers. I don't usually go out of my way for wrestling spoilers.
I didn't even know they were pre-recording until like yesterday.
They are. They are.
No, but I didn't know they were until yesterday.
Yeah. WrestleMania feels so weird this year because it doesn't feel like WrestleMania because of everything that's going on and the fact that it's going to be pre-taped. It's going to be filmed inside of an empty, gym.
That's so weird. That's
for all lack of purposes. There's a lot of folks that say that when all this went down, they should have just like unbranded the show as WrestleMania, called it something else, and like maybe done WrestleMania later in the year or skip it for a year. And at first I was like, well, that's fucking dumb. But then like I thought about it, I'm like, now they probably should do that. Like this is always to be a part of WrestleMania history.
It's not WrestleMania.
Right.
Well, first of all, like they make so much money on WrestleMania weekend. No one can interact with each other. Like they can't get that money from interactions with the fans. They're not going to be any fans in the stadium or wherever they're going to be. So how are they going to make money off of this thing? I feel like they're eating. I feel like Vince McMahon's going to eat the cost of this because like the performers are contractors, right? So they're going to get paid for performing. But the money that they would usually get from WrestleMania is not there.
That
granted, is a billionaire.
There's also there's a lot of overhead that they aren't going to have to spend because it's not being held in a giant stadium. Now, some of that is probably sunk cost anyway. Like I'm sure like the sets and stuff like that for the stage and things of that nature was probably bought and paid for and manufactured a long time ago.
Right.
So I don't know if you can.
Are they still gonna have that? Like are they gonna have like the massive set with nobody there?
Well,
that's gonna feel really fucking weird.
They'll save it for the next. Well, they're not gonna have the massive set in the Performance Center. They'll save that shit for when they have WrestleMania in Tampa. Probably not next year, but the year after. I would guarantee that they're probably gonna go back to Tampa because Tampa's gonna want it because obviously that's a big revenue boon for the city as well. When they do that, I don't know what we're gonna do because like we're supposed to do our WrestleMania recap on next week's show, and I'm not even like, I'm not even like about it right now.
I can barely get through like 15 minutes of like this weird avant-garde theater that's like they have ring announcers, guys, like, and here's Oscar, like
Nothing's going on. Okay.
is yeah, we know it's Oscar.
Well, and
Me and Triple H sitting right here know that it's Oscar.
Well, it's funny too because like some of the wrestlers get it and they're like mixing up their entrances and they're mixing up how they react to the camera and how they react in the ring, given the fact there's no audience. Becky Lynch comes out on Raw yesterday. She's still walking around the stage like holding the title above her head. I'm like, for who? Like, who is that?
It's
for?
funny because you can tell who are the really good actors. Well, really good actors, and the ones that are just kind of like,
So,
I mean, you got to kind of play up to the camera at this point because you can't play up to the fucking crowd. His ain't one.
Right, but that's what you got to do, right? You got to play to the camera, not to the ghosts in the arena.
Right, like your audience is in the camera, like the dude that's holding that little, round piece of glass in front of your face. That's your audience right now.
Like I have heard that some wrestlers aren't going to be there that were supposed to be.
That transitions nicely into John's question. He says, how do you feel about major pro wrestling companies having matches during this time? He understands the business, but it's reckless when it comes to talent safety. Look at guys like Roman Reigns as well, and the same can be said for Dana White and UFC. It's tough, right? It's tough because you have the ability to do it. There is a level of responsibility that comes with it. From what I understand, and I can only speak about WWE because I don't really follow AEW like that. They are testing people before they even go into the building.
That's what I heard.
And if they test positive, then they can't show up. Some wrestlers like Roman Reigns,
he was like, no,
right?
no.
Those guys are pulling themselves
like,
out.
nigga, I just got over cancer, bro. Leave me alone.
Allow me to quote Roman Reigns: "I'm in remission, y'all."
So it's difficult. It's hard, right? Like it's one of those things that kind of runs in the face of what we're all supposed to be doing right now when you have two guys locking up in the ring. Not really social distancing, I'd say, for sure. Charlotte did her best to social distance from Rhea Ripley on Raw last night. She kicked her in the back as she was walking and then stood 6 feet away the entire time. So good job on her part. But yeah, it's tough, man. I feel for those guys. But as long as they're taking precautions and being as safe as they can with it, I guess it's fine. But it certainly is strange in this time where everyone's being told, don't fucking be near each other at all because we got to flatten the curve. You have two guys locking up for 20 minutes or more to go. So
But I mean, if they're testing negative, then I don't see. I mean, if they're actually doing what they're supposed to do in testing and they're negative, I guess I don't see a point since it's going to be in an empty arena anyway.
Right.
But yeah, if I was anybody that had like an immunocompromised system, like I don't trust it.
Yeah, Roman Reigns pulling out.
He was just like, no, I don't know where you've been.
His reaction was the best too. He's like, a lot of you guys out there is like, you've been telling me for years. He's like, we don't need you at WrestleMania. We didn't want you at WrestleMania, and now I'm not going. I'm a sissy and I'm a bitch.
You got your wish.
He's like, fuck y'all. So, but yeah, I totally understand him being much more cautious. And now we're gonna get Goldberg versus Braun Strowman apparently, which is going to be lame.
Oh.
Goldberg's probably going to win. So,
yeah, that's kind of whack.
Yeah.
And isn't Strowman like enemy number one now for the shit he said a couple weeks ago?
No, I think people mostly
got over it
because I think what he was saying was being taken slightly out of context a little bit.
A little bit, but at the same time, I get it. He was talking about some of the wrestlers that like the ones in the indies. This hurts them a lot. Like they're not making any money. And he was like, and other people set up GoFundMe's for them. Yeah. I'm not paying. Like, no, I'm not paying for that shit. Fuck you. But I see where the people who were upset about what he said were coming from. It's like he said he came to like Florida with no money and basically the Rock story. I came in there with $2 in my pocket, bullshit.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Essentially, and people
Well,
were
I
like,
mean,
"Look,
what he
I
said
don't
was-
really have them."
Yeah, what he said could be boiled down to just stop being poor. Basically, what he was saying is that if you're struggling that much to make a living in this industry, maybe do something else to take care of your family.
And the funny thing about that is that he said he changed careers after like bodybuilding, whatever, didn't work for him, and he went to wrestling. And it just has so happened that he's a huge guy that fucking Vince McMahon loves. So he made it. So, and he's got the money now, so he can kind of say that. But people are like, bruh, you have the body type.
Yeah. Stop being poor.
Yeah. That's why people took it, and I get it. Like, shut up, nigga. You got the money.
Just be 6'10" and 300 pounds like me. That's all you gotta do.
It's like you're essentially telling people that made it in your profession to stop being poor. That's kind of what it got. That's kind of what people got from like, but you made it. I'm trying to get where you are. I don't have the body type you have. I'm probably a better wrestler than you are, but you're bigger. So, what are you gonna do?
Can you flip an ambulance?
You're right, Bron. I'm sorry. I'll go work at Kroger's now.
Oh my god. Eric asks, is there any game series that you thought about playing through again during the lockdown?
No. Not really.
Look, if there was ever a time that
again
EA was to do the HD Mass Effect remaster and drop that shit on us, now would be it.
Yep. I would man, shit.
I want them to remaster Mass Effect 1 and put in the Mass Effect 3
do the Uncharted collection.
gameplay. Yeah,
that would be
Uncharted 1 is garbage, guys. The first Uncharted is garbage.
No, but I'm saying like when they released the collection,
they fixed it.
They retconned the controls with the
because they're controls for the first.
Right.
Ugh, gross. But that game still sucks. Like the first one, even with the retcon controls, it's not a good game. It isn't.
Is it not a good game, or is it like?
No, it's not a good game.
Is it the Die Hard 2 of the Uncharted series, where it's fine?
It's the worst of the Uncharted series.
It's not as good.
It's look. Have you played it? When's the last time you played it?
Oh, last time I played it was when it came out. Fucking 10 years ago.
Do you have the Uncharted collection?
I do technically.
Play it.
I don't know if I'm going to go back.
Go ahead and play the first one. See how far you get into. Like no, thanks. I'll go to 4, 3 or 4. Or 2.
3, 2 or 4 is where I'm going to be going. So.
2 or 4. Like you'll turn it off within 20 minutes. You're like, God damn.
3 played fine, but the story was balls in Uncharted 3. Hated that story. Henry asks, Animal Crossing, are we going to get a Dense Pixels playing along or nah? That is solely up to Carrie. Yeah, that is Carrie's department. I don't know if she has a capture card to be able to stream gameplay. So Switch is not the easiest system to stream from. You actually have to have like an Elgato or something like that in order to do it. And then Rahman asks, if the rumors are true about Microsoft buying Konami's IPs, would that make any of you more interested in Xbox if they had a new Silent Hill or Metal Gear game at launch? So I don't want to deflate that balloon for him, but there were also reports that Sony was going to be buying Konami's IPs. And the other problem too is that even if that were to happen one way or the other, you're not going to see a new game from Konami in those series at launch for these consoles. Not by a long shot.
Of course.
It's not that
Silent Hill, yes. Metal Gear, I don't fucking care at this point. I just don't.
It's not that I wouldn't be more or less interested in an Xbox. I'm interested in an Xbox. I'm gonna get one. Silent Hill is usually not like Silent Hill. I can deal with Resident Evil. Silent Hill, it's a bit much for me. While I enjoy the Silent Hill stories far more, like Silent Hill 2 is incredible. It's also scary as shit for me because I don't like ghost shit. And that's all Silent Hill is. It's a bunch of creepy ghost shit. Metal Gear, I'd be real curious to see what a proper Metal Gear without Kojima.
Metal Gear.
I'm real curious to see what that looks
like. The first one that we got, sans Kojima, did not exactly set the world on fire.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
That was the majority of his stuff, but they kicked him off.
I'm talking about like a real one, like fresh from the ground up, like Metal Gear? Like, is it gonna be like, are we gonna have the 90-minute cutscenes? Are we going to have the, lalelulelo? Or are we going to have like creative characters, or is it just going to be like generic? Or like, I'm very curious to see what a Kojima-less Metal Gear would be.
It would also depend very much on who is developing that game as well. Because if it's going to be like a Konami studio, at this point, I am definitely not interested in anything that they have coming to the table.
Yeah, unless it's a Metal Gear pachinko machine.
Right. They have made it patently clear that they do not give a fuck about their.
That is such a weird turn. How they go from video games to pachinko machines?
Well, they had always made them for a while apparently, but they just stopped caring. They just stopped making video games at that point and just focused.
Was like the cost
like
too
their
much?
Arcade.
Yeah, they feel like the cost wasn't worth the squeeze. Like, that's their fault because they started making garbage games.
Also true.
Like what the fuck?
Right. And honestly, the Konami IP that I'd be most interested in someone else.
Castlevania?
That could be Castlevania,
yeah.
So, but we'll see. I mean, I don't think
like the Mercury Steam games are good.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't think Konami's a company that's flush with cash at this point. So honestly, them selling their IPs off to somebody would not shock me. Like those rumors, I don't know where they would go. But those rumors are sensible rumors, at least. Like they make sense to me. Because that way at least Konami could get something for those properties because they ain't doing shit all with them.
Right.
As it is. I mean, the only Castlevania game that's come out in the past 5 years is fucking Bloodstained, which is not a Castlevania game. It just is a Castlevania game.
Yeah.
Konami's backing. So but yeah, so that is it for the post office this week. Thank you guys very much for getting your questions in. And that is going to be it for this week's show. So make sure you join our fan group, densepixels.com/fans. That way you too can participate in the Dense Pixels post office. Again, I don't know if we're going to do a full Wrestlemania review next week. I really don't, which would be sad because it would break a 5-year tradition that we've had running of the big 4 shows with WWE. We might. I don't know. I really don't know. What we might do is maybe we'll do a special edition of the post office where we answer your WrestleMania questions.
Yeah.
But we don't do like a full-on review. And plus, there's too many fucking matches. They're spreading this shit over 2 nights, and it's gonna be 3 hours a night. What? Yeah. I don't. That's a lot of fucking wrestling to review. But we'll see.
Is that Xander or Maxwell?
Maxwell.
Oh, that's Maxwell. Yeah. I got to get the hell out of here.
So I was like, oh, he's wilding in the back.
He's a whole floor down and all the way across the house. He's at the furthest point he could possibly be. You can still hear him.
Well, subscribe where you get your podcast. Go to youtube.com/denspixels. Follow Carrie on Twitch @SubsCarrie. That's it. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening and watching.
See you.
For watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel, click the subscribe button while you're here and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.